Sci Access, May 10, 2024. Welcome address by Sci Access Director Anna Voelker.
Hello, everyone. Hello and good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from today. I am so excited to have the privilege to welcome you all to the Sci Access 2024 conference. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Anna Voelker. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the founder and executive director of Sci Access. I'm a white person with brown hair in front of a virtual space background. And I just want to say I'm so excited to see everyone sharing in the chat where they're tuning in from. I see Belgium, Hawaii, Chile, France, Ohio, all across the United States and beyond. So good morning from Malaysia, just came in. So good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here today from around the world to come together to advance disability inclusion and accessibility in the STEM fields. This weekend, there will be about 500 of you joining us, including 60 speakers sharing their expertise and insights on the best practices and next steps in accessibility in the STEM world. I'd like to take this moment to thank our generous conference sponsors who made today's event possible. This includes the Patel Engineering, Technology, and Human Affairs Endowment, the Ohio State Office of Outreach and Engagement, and the Ohio State Energy Partners. It is thanks to their generous support that we're not only able to gather here today, but to do so as a free event with registration covered through their generous sponsorship. I also want to thank each and every one of you who did donate when registering. Every single one of those dollars helps us grow and advances our nonprofit's impact on our science accessibility programs, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And I also wanted to remind folks, for anyone who has donated, you have been automatically entered for a chance to win a telescope signed by our keynote astronaut, Dr. Chris Bosshausen. And those donations will be open through noon tomorrow. So if you want a chance to win the telescope, you have until 12 p.m. tomorrow, at which point the donation raffle will close and we'll be selecting our winner. I'd like to take a moment now to thank our dedicated team of organizers who made today's event possible. This includes Caitlin O'Brien, my incredible assistant director for not only this event, but for the entire Sci Access nonprofit, Alethea Martin, who's newly minted as our Sci Access Director of Communications, and who seamlessly brought their talent, time, and dedication to this role, Rachel Horvath and Emily Macbeth, two stellar Ohio State students whose careers I cannot wait to follow, and who with Caitlin O'Brien, you can see all gathered around in the physics research building at The Ohio State University together. They'll be behind the scenes today, supporting every aspect of today's event. And last but not least, our faculty advisor and Sci Access mentor, Dr. John Beacom, who sets the example for what it looks like when a leader in their field goes out of their way to support others and to actively help them grow. I'm so lucky to work with this incredible team. Without each and every one of these people you see on the screen right now, this event would not be possible. So thank you all for being here. A few housekeeping items before we get started and the logistics on how today's event will work. There are two primary links. Right now, you're in Strand A and our plenary or keynote link. And after our opening remarks, we will also open Strand B. Both rooms will be open throughout the entirety of the conference, and we'll be sharing that Strand B link in the chat here so that you all have that handy. At the end of today's session at 5 p.m., we'll also share a social room link for anyone who wants to socialize and network from 5 to 6 for the Sci Access Social Hour. As you may see on screen, there is an ASL interpreter who will be available in both rooms throughout the entire conference, as well as a live cart captioner at all times. We do recommend that if you're using these services that you join from a computer and not a phone to make sure that everything is working properly. To view the ASL interpreters in a separate window, you can click on the globe-shaped interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. This will allow the ASL interpreter to appear in a separate pop-out window that is visible at all times. Should you have any questions, please use the chat to ask our team members, and to ask questions to the speakers, we encourage you to use the Q&A function, which is available at the bottom of your screen. With that, I'd like to take a moment to look back on our journey here today. Sci Access began almost exactly 5 years ago with the mission to advance accessibility in the STEM fields. And since then, we have seen our conference, our community, and our impact grow exponentially. When we last gathered, it was in 2021. And since then, it has been a very busy time over here at the SciAccess nonprofit. It was the same year that we launched Astro Access, an initiative designed to advance disability inclusion in human spaceflight. During Astro Access's first mission, we were able to do the first ever zero gravity flight dedicated to advancing disability inclusion in the space industry. And this was something that we were really thrilled to be able to support in partnership with George Whitesides, my co-founder for Astro Access, who was the CEO of Virgin Galactic for 10 years. If you go on to the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit more about our work in 2022. So since then, we conducted an additional 4 zero gravity flights, including work with MIT, the Aurelia Institute, the Zero Gravity Corporation research team, and an additional full-scale zero gravity flight conducted in 2022. This second full-scale mission had folks from 5 different countries joining our Astro Access team to research everything from tactile navigation to seat docking and seat control anchoring for folks with different mobility disabilities, and ASL access in zero gravity for folks who are deaf and hard of hearing. Going on to the next slide, I'll share a little bit more about what happened in 2023. Caitlin O'Brien, our assistant director, founded the Solstice Outreach Program, which is an initiative to bring high-quality STEM outreach via immersive portable planetarium shows that have begun now officially offering their programs as of 2024. We also really had the opportunity to share our work with the community through many different high-profile outlets, NPR, South by Southwest, and worked and met with leaders at NASA Johnson to share the work we've been doing on space accessibility, including talks with SpaceX, Blue Origin, and many more. Last but not least, we worked on multiple analog astronaut missions with our disability ambassadors from the Astro Access team, including work with the University of Arizona and the Lunaris Center in Poland. Moving right along here, I'll share a little bit more about what's happening since then on the awards and recognition side. We received the Space Tourism Award for this work, the Ohio State Diversity Champion Award, the National Federation of the Blind's highest honor bestowed to organizations, the Balaton Prize, the Falling Walls Engage Award for our science outreach and engagement, which is headquartered out of Berlin, and most recently last month, the NASA Space Tech Catalyst Prize for advancing access in the space technology industry. Next up, I'm really excited to share that next week, we have 2 additional zero gravity flights planned, one with MIT, researching diabetes in space, and one with the Aurelia Institute, researching lighting systems and access for deaf and hard of hearing team members. And it is actually this lighting experiment and its original testing that was designed and led by our dear friend Apurva. And I want to share that this year's conference is dedicated to Apurva Varya, who passed away at the end of April. Apurva was our friend, a father, a husband, an accomplished engineer and researcher, and a passionate advocate for accessibility for all. Many of you may remember him as one of our keynote speakers for SciAccess 2021. And he was a man for whom the word kind just does not do justice. As his family shared, from the very beginning, Apurva was always looking to the stars with a dream of going to space. And in fact, when he was in 9th grade, he wrote a letter to NASA asking if deaf people could go to space. And he got a reply. NASA actually wrote back saying, "We are not ready to accept deaf astronauts, but keep trying and keep in touch with us." And he never let that stop him. He went on to work at NASA as a mission operations director for 21 years. His proudest projects were the Parker Solar Probe, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and the Interstellar Boundary Explorer, all incredible satellites that help increase our understanding of the universe. As an active member of the deaf community, Apurva was the president of the Metro South Asian Deaf Association and passionate for fostering connection, awareness, and education for deaf people everywhere. He was a role model for young scientists interested in space. And he flew in gravity twice with us here at Astro Access, fulfilling his lifelong dream of experiencing weightlessness. In his memory, I'd like to share here his favorite space image. On the screen now is the Hubble Ultra Deep Space Field, an image of almost 10,000 galaxies created when the Hubble Space Telescope pointed at a seemingly blank piece of the sky. A quote from Apurva in describing this image, he said, "There's this one image of thousands of galaxies taken by Hubble. It's just amazing. I see that and I know there's no way we're alone." Apurva had a special talent for making people feel not alone, for making them feel welcome and warm. And it is this warmth, his warmth, that I feel when looking at this image. And I think of him there among the stars where he has always belonged. In the words of his family, knowing Apurva, he would encourage all of us to take a second and look up at the stars and appreciate how lucky we are to be on this earth, here together. I am thankful to be here together today with all of you. And to quote Dr. Mahadeo Sukai, another one of our speakers who you'll be hearing from shortly, the importance of an event like this is that it sends the message, we are not alone. When it comes to STEM, we belong. It is this belonging that Apurva championed, and it is his community, our community, that I'm so excited to connect, uplift, and grow together this weekend. Thank you all so much for being here. With that, we will now begin today's conference. We'll be sharing the link to Strand B in the chat here. If you're staying in Strand A, you're already where you need to be, so go ahead and stay right here, and we'll get started momentarily. Thank you.
Sci Access. Learn more at www.sciaccess.org.